we have a question in the chat, and the question says, the more I act like a jerk, the more that women fall for me. Why is it so? I can't explain it, how it feels to be mean, but it works. Well, I thought about writing this book years ago, and I think I did a show about it called How to Date Like a Jerk. But what I want to stress is this. The reason that jerks, or in your case, acting like a jerk, is so successful is because it's not really about the jerk part. See, what men get mixed up is they think that in order to attract women, they need to be mean, and that women only like bad boys and jerk guys, right? But the reality is a little bit more delicate than that. What's really going on is this, is that jerk guys typically project certain idealistic characteristics that nice guys do not. A lot of nice guys end up being guys that aren't bold, that aren't asking for what they want, that are so afraid of offending a woman that they're going to be as safe as possible. And in the process of that, women, they just don't get the tingles for that. Like, they want a guy that's bold, that's daring, that's willing to stand up to her, that's willing to sometimes say things that are a bit shocking. But if it's the truth that he has, a woman would rather date with a guy that is acting in his truth than a guy that is lying. And whether nice guys want to hear this or not, a lot of nice guys are actually lying to women. Like, nice guys are the guys that are like, oh no, I'm not about sex. I'm not trying to date you just to hook up. But the nice guys want hookups too. Like, when I was a nice guy in college, I was a virgin until I was 23. I can assure you though, that didn't mean I wanted to be a virgin. Like, I would legit go out with women that wanted to do stuff with me. And I was like, but no, I need her to really see that I'm a relationship worthy guy and that I'm not just about that. So no sex for her. And then they leave me and go have sex with somebody else. So at a very early age, I learned, like, oh, so this whole lie about, guys are just in this for sex and that women are going to be offended. The reality is women are hornier than we are, guys. Like, we think because our testosterone, we're horny. Let me tell you, a woman that finds a guy that she's highly attractive to, smells nice, and knows how to rock her world in the right way, she will be absolutely horny for that guy all the time, like consistently wet. And that's what nice guys don't get, is that by them doing all this nice behavior, it's pleasing behavior. Women don't want a guy that's only doing pleasing behavior because it feels like you're just doing it to try to win her over. Versus, picture like a jerk guy, right? A jerk guy's only thinking about himself, only cares about his needs, but then every so often, he might do a nice thing for her. Like, he might try to pay for a meal. He might try to get her flowers. He might try to compliment her. But what happens then is that those women are now anticipating when that's going to happen. And because they don't know, it keeps them on their toes. And that little titillating feeling of like not knowing about when this guy's going to treat me right or not, that is something that stimulates a woman. Now, this doesn't make sense to a nice guy because he's like, but wouldn't a woman want to be treated nice all the time? There's a difference between being a nice guy and being a gentleman. A gentleman is going to do the things he wants to do and stand on his own principles without bowing down to them to other people, whereas a nice guy is all about that. Like, a nice guy is about whatever I got to do to please this person. Now, here's the other thing you may not consider, right? Is that to women, a fair higher amount of women than men are people pleasers, meaning they have been trained almost since like birth to look out for other people's feelings and to do for other people. And so whether you want to hear this or not, guy, this is the absolute truth, right? Because more often than not, women, more so than men, are people pleasers. People pleasing is seen as a feminine behavior. Now, I don't believe it is. Again, there are guys out there that are people pleasers too, but most men that are people pleasers have a hard time getting into relationships. And part of that could very well be because it is seen as a feminine behavior. Women are always people pleasing, but that means that they are also acquiescing to what other people's needs are. For women, having that come from their guy puts them in a very dangerous position. Because let's say you guys are out someplace and then a guy comes up and wants to like rob her, right? Well, if you're a guy that's a more masculine guy, you're going to try to defend tooth and nail, try to chase after the guy or punch the guy or do whatever. But if you're a guy that's a nice guy and is a people pleaser, you're going to be like, just give him what he wants, honey. It's okay. Oh my God. Or you might try to jump behind like a trash can and not defend her and leave her to herself, right? And so women are looking at this and analyzing it all the time. And so that's why when she sees you as a people pleaser, you might make an absolute great friend, but you're not going to be somebody that's going to turn her on because, again, people pleasing behavior is seen as feminine. She does not want to date a feminine guy because, God forbid, she needs some masculine energy around. You don't have it. So in terms of being a jerk, I don't want you to think about it as you being a jerk is what's winning women over. I need you to think about it as Jerks display masculine qualities that women find attractive. As a so-called nice guy, you can reform yourself to being a gentleman that is able to do behaviors that jerks do that are positive that still get results. Like me, for example, one of the things I stress the most on here is that I don't text women a whole lot. And so people come to me and say, but that's not a nice behavior. If she texts you, you should text her. Or I'll say, after that first date, wait 4 days to call her. But if you don't call her or text her, she's not going to know, and that's not a nice behavior. Well, we could debate whether it's nice or not. I care about results, and I care about what my actions are projecting to women. Me waiting 4 days between dates to call a woman says to her, I have a life going on. I have other things going on besides her. And those things probably include me out there trying to work hard and hustle in order to be more successful. And that feeling is more attractive than a guy who's able to text and call her every day, because it's a nice thing to do and it's people pleasing, and it's going to turn her off. So for you guys that have been wondering, why is it that I text a girl for 2 or 3 weeks and then all of a sudden she starts waning off? Part of it's because you're not displaying attractive behavior by being available on the phone all the time. So you got to take that into consideration, and you can fight me on it. Look at your own results. When you try to ask women out day by day by day by day, does that start to burn out? When you are texting women nonstop and saying, good morning, how are you doing, princess, and blah, 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 is that keeping women or not? If it's not keeping women, it's because that is a nice guy behavior that looks very feminine and it's turning her off. Versus you be a little bit of a jerk by not calling her, by not texting her all the time. The men that women tend to pine over the most are the ones that are like, he hasn't called me in like 2 or 3 days, what's going on? Or I think he might be seeing somebody else. Like, that aspect of that, to them, women will hear that and say like, he's being a jerk, but you got to ask yourself a question. Is it actually jerk behavior, or is it just that women don't like the behavior? And does that mean that it's now jerk behavior? Just because a woman doesn't like you not texting or calling all the time or not asking her out all the time doesn't mean it's jerk behavior. It means that on the surface, she doesn't like it. But again, I don't care about on the surface what she's saying she wants. What does she need? I have found women need for me to go away for a few days after a date in order to anticipate me. So that's what I do. If that's seen as jerk behavior, I got news for you, nice guy. It's not actually jerk behavior. Just because you're not used to doing the behavior or that women are complaining about it doesn't make it jerk behavior, especially if it works, So hopefully that causes you to not be so confused about what all that is, and that helps you out, all right?
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man.